Hi everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. It is summertime and grilling is in full swing. I grill almost every single day during the summer days, and today I wanted to show you guys how I make my ribeye steak at home. I'm going to show you how to marinate it, put it on the grill, and then we're going to serve it with some pan-seared baby potatoes and a chimichurri sauce. I absolutely love this combination. It's so simple. It's a no-fuss recipe that you can have ready in absolutely no time. Now I have a separate video recipe for the chimichurri sauce, so head on over to that. Watch that video when you're ready to make it. Meanwhile, let me show you how I get my steak ready for the grill. And today I'll be preparing 2 large ribeye steaks. These are huge. They're going to feed at least 4 to 5 people, 1.5 inches thick. I have the bone-in version, and now I have a couple simple ingredients that I like to use. So we have some extra virgin olive oil. I have some balsamic vinegar, some coarse sea salt. You want like nice big flakes of sea salt. I also have a blend, a spice blend. It's called Herbe de Provence. So there's a lot of different spices in here, like thyme, rosemary, basil. Let's see what else is on here. Marjoram and sage. This adds so much incredible flavor to the steak. And I also have just some ground black pepper. And when I pick out my ribeye steaks, I go for one that has lots of good marbling, like thin veins throughout the meat. I also like to have a little like edge of fat around the steak. And I'm going to leave it on there because when it's on the grill, it's going to keep that meat super moisturized. And then when you're ready to serve, when the meat is rested, you could just trim off that fat. All right, and now it's time to get the steak marinated. So what I like to do is just pour a good amount of olive oil all over both sides. And the olive oil is just going to add so much delicious juiciness and moisture to that. Next up, we have some balsamic vinegar. And this is going to help just break down some of the most fibrous parts of the steak, and it's going to make it really nice and tender. All right, and next up, we're gonna season the steaks with plenty of coarse sea salt. And I like to use this salt in particular because of the sharp edges. They actually penetrate deep down into the meat. So you're actually gonna add lots of flavor with this salt. Just sprinkle on this mix of Herbe de Provence. And that's it for my super simple steak marinade. I'm gonna cover the steak with plastic wrap and place it into the refrigerator. You want it to marinate for at least 6 to 8 hours. It's best if you do it like the night before. That way the steak is really gonna soak up all those flavors. So into the fridge, and meanwhile, I'm going to show you guys how to make my pan-seared baby potatoes. They taste so good with the steak. And you guys are going to love this super easy pan-seared baby potato recipe. This is also something that you could start prepping ahead of time, and that's exactly what I did with my potatoes. So I placed about 3-4 pounds of baby potatoes into a small saucepan, added some salted water in there, cooked them until they're fork tender for about 15 minutes, and then I just let them cool and stored them in the fridge. But you could do this the same day as well. Just cook the potatoes until they're fork tender. And then I'm going to preheat a large frying pan. I'm going to add a little dab, or a big dab, lots of butter, salted butter into my pan, let that melt. I'm also going to add a little bit of grapeseed oil and then let that get really nice and hot. Now I'm ready to add my potatoes, just drop them right into the pan. Now at this point, all I'm going to do is season the potatoes with salt. Otherwise, I find that the spices and the herbs kind of burn while the potatoes are pan-searing. So just salt at this point. And at this point, I'm just gonna let the potatoes cook away. It's gonna take a good 15 to 20 minutes. You wanna toss it every 5 minutes until the potatoes are nicely browned all over. These potatoes are coming along so beautifully, and now it's time to season them up. So I'm going to add a little bit of cracked black pepper. So my husband loves garlic, so I'm gonna add lots of garlic powder. The reason I don't add fresh garlic is it's a little bit too strong, and the flavor of the garlic powder works better. A little bit of smoked paprika and a sprinkle of Herbe de Provence. So I use about a teaspoon each. All right, so just toss the potatoes and all the spices and herbs that you just added, and then we could turn off the heat and set the potatoes aside. And now is a great time to make that chimichurri sauce. I have a separate video recipe for that. Head on over to that, check it out. It is the best chimichurri sauce you've ever had, and you're gonna wanna use it on everything. All right, guys, so I've preheated my grill to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it to be nice and hot. We're gonna place the steaks right out of the refrigerator onto the hot grill. And give them some space so that they cook evenly. And today I want to cook my steaks to a nice medium rare, so I'm not going to close the grill lid. I'm going to keep it open. I'm going to grill the steaks for about 7 to 8 minutes per side. And then halfway through, I'm going to rotate the steaks 45 degrees. Time to flip these babies over. We're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. And those char marks are looking good. I'm just going to cook the steak for the exact same amount of time on the other side now. All right, guys, so I took my steaks off the grill about 5 minutes ago, and you want them to rest before you cut into them. But this is also a great time to get rid of that excess fat that we left on. And the reason I leave it on again is because it keeps the steak nice and moist, but it's not really edible, so you want to get rid of it at this time. And then I like to serve the ribeye already sliced because it's such a large chunk of meat. It's also easier to eat like with salads and stuff. Just grab a sharp knife and cut nice 1/2 inch thick slices. Look at on the inside, it looks so good. And now it's time to combine everything together, the pan-seared potatoes, the chimichurri, and the steak. Just layer on the steak. And we're going to top it with that chimichurri sauce. And it is so delicious. It's like the most amazing sauce ever. It goes so well with the steak. And then I also like to add a little bit of steak sauce over the top. Now this is my own recipe. I'll share it on my blog post. Best steak sauce ever. And this steak looks so good. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the steak, put the chimichurri sauce, dip it into my steak sauce, and grab a little bit of this pan-seared potato. Time to dig in and enjoy. This steak with the pan-seared potatoes is just unbelievably delicious. Just the way I like to enjoy my ribeye steak during the summer. That chimichurri sauce really elevates this dish to a whole new level. It just doesn't taste the same without the chimichurri. It has like the zestiness, this flavor that steak and potatoes need. Absolutely incredible. For the full recipe, just head on down into that video description box. I'll include a recipe on my blog for the steak marinade, for the baby potatoes, and for the chimichurri sauce. You guys will have everything in one spot. Just head on over and you can print that and share it with your family and friends. Hope you guys enjoyed this recipe at home as much as I do, and I'll see you next time.